The Buffalo Bills are now 5-1 on the season after defeating the Miami Dolphins, but that game was far more stressful than it needed to be. Let's talk about it. What is going on, everyone? Patrick Moran here, host of the Moran-Alytics Podcast with a little MP Extra. This is audio content that is exclusive to this YouTube channel. You're not going to hear it on my podcast or anywhere else for that matter. I just wanted to offer a handful of thoughts on the Bills going to 5-1 today, despite having a much harder go at it than anyone could have expected. At least most people could have expected. On my podcast Tuesday, I'll deep dive into the game a lot more. I'll have a guest with me. But for now, I wanted to drop this as well because, frankly, I ain't trying to wait until my podcast on Tuesday to talk some Buffalo Bills. That's half the reason why I got this YouTube channel. Speaking of, before I get into it, go hit that subscribe button down just below this box. I want to build a subscription count up, get myself motivated to make a lot more content videos just like this. So let's get into it. The Buffalo Bills, 31-21 over the Miami Dolphins, 5-1 on the season. And let's start right there. Let's stress that, okay? That cannot be overlooked. It cannot be said enough. The Buffalo Bills, ladies and gentlemen, are 5-1, okay? 6 times they've taken the field. 5 times they've left winners. Style points do not count. Wins count. Losses count. There's 16 games. This was one of them. The Buffalo Bills won. They're 5-1, and they are sitting, at least for the moment, very, very pretty early on in the AFC playoff picture. Let's not overstate that, okay? Because that is important. Having said that, no, I'm going to get down on this team right now. You know that. This was an annoying day, okay? Very annoying. Well, you know what? Maybe annoying is not the best word. How about stress? This was a very stressful day, especially considering it was a win. Did not expect this. Sat on the couch like I do most Sundays for Bills games. Turn that game on. Get my laptop up. Start tweeting. Talking on Facebook. Texting with a couple buddies about the game. I'm ready to chill, man. It's been a stressful year, a great start. I'm like, we're playing the Miami freaking Dolphins. This is going to be a walk in the park. What else can I get into today while I'm casually watching this game? Well, no. Didn't play like that at all. This turned out to be a very stressful game. By the third quarter, my laptop's off me. It's on the other couch. I can't sit down. I'm walking around the living room, pacing like an animal. All stressed out, swearing at the TV. God knows what I was saying, and who only knows in this complex who was hearing what I was actually saying. My wife was watching the game with me, has to go in the closet, comes out in her lucky Josh Allen t-shirt, which we didn't think we were going to need today. My son's in his room playing Xbox. I said, get your ass out here, kid. Got to watch the second half, man. Got to change it up. Even didn't watch the first half. They were playing like shit. I said, got to change it up. Just that kind of game. Stress level was nuts. By the fourth quarter, I didn't care that we were playing the Dolphins anymore. I started treating that game like they were playing the Patriots, like they were playing the Chiefs, like they were playing the New Orleans Saints. Just wanted to win the game. Didn't care who made the play. Didn't care if it was a 1-point win or a 20-point win. Just win the game. That was all I cared about at that point. Thought it was going to be easy. It was anything but that. And let's be clear here, okay, when it comes to Miami Dolphins, sure, they're tanking in some ways. But it ain't the players. The players don't tank. Those 46 dudes that put on a jersey on Sunday and go out there and play, they're trying to win. They ain't trying to lose. I promise you that. Okay? They're playing for each other. They're playing to try to shut up the world. They're playing for pride. Most of all, they're playing for money. They're playing for money. Okay? Guys on this roster might get cut. They're playing for jobs. Some of these guys are going to be free agents at the end of the season. They're playing for a payday. Players do not go out there and intentionally lose. Their careers are way too short for that. And even if the team 2-3 years from now becomes the new New England Patriots, okay? Half these guys won't be on this team. More than half these guys won't be on this team. Just look at the Buffalo Bills roster and the turnover you've seen in the last, maybe 24 months or so. I promise you these guys ain't losing. Now, management, that's an entire story in itself. That's different, okay? They're trading their best players. They got guys who are injured who could probably go, but they don't play them because they just might help the team. Management is absolutely trying to lose, and there's no question about that. They can deny it if they want, but everyone knows they're a liar. So when you take all that together, this was an embarrassing game. And I don't remember over the last 20 years many Buffalo Bills victories that I could say were embarrassing, but this was borderline one of them. And can you just imagine, had the Bills lost this game on Sunday? Oh my God. This would have been one of the all-time embarrassing losses for this franchise. And that's saying a lot, to be honest with you, because this team has not been very good over the last 2 decades. Now, they've had bigger losses. They've had more heartbreaking losses. Had they lost to the Dolphins today, they'd still be 4-2 and in a good position. But in terms of embarrassment, this would have ranked really high amongst the worst. And my buddy Anthony said it perfectly after the game. In hindsight, and of course, it's easy to be an armchair quarterback after the fact. But he's right. He says, if you didn't see this coming, you haven't been a Bills fan your whole life. That is true. That is true. We thought this was going to be a walk in the park. The Bills were favored by 17 points, and I'm sorry, with this offense and their lack of beating teams in recent years, being a 17-point favorite against anybody when you're the Buffalo Bills, that's too high. It's too high. So yeah, we should have saw this coming, that it was going to be a closer game. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I don't care. He could be 0-70. You know he wants to come to Buffalo and beat the Bills in the worst way. And he damn near almost did, man. He really did. But again, end of the day, Buffalo Bills, 5-1, first time since 2008. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to wins or losses, I generally don't like to put it on one player. I don't credit one player for winning a game often. And I don't blame one player for losing a game often. But I'm going to make an exception today because I'm telling you right now, were it not for Tre'Davius White, we're not talking about the 5-1 Buffalo Bills tonight. We are talking about the 4-2 Buffalo Bills tonight. I'm going to make that real clear to you right now. The Buffalo Bills do not beat the Miami Dolphins were it not for Tre'Davius White. He is the reason why the Bills won that game. It's 14-9 in the fourth quarter. Miami fakes a field goal. They're inside the 2. Jordan Phillips makes a great play. Hits Fitzpatrick for a loss on first down. And it was second down, or maybe it was third down. One of them two. It's the play of the game by a mile. Fitzpatrick throws right. And Tre'Davius White steps in front and makes an unbelievable interception. It's one thing to get an interception at a key time. Quite often, to be honest with you, the ball just finds you. Sometimes the quarterback corner doesn't even make a good play. It just happens to be thrown right at him. But not on this. Tre'Davius White made a diving interception. It was beautiful. Probably the biggest play of his career to this point. Stops the touchdown. Because I'll tell you right now, Miami goes in, they score a touchdown. It's 21-9. That's probably the way this team was playing, the way they were looking. That's a wrap. That's a wrap on the game. Right there. 21-9, fourth quarter. I think it's a wrap. They get the ball. They go 98 yards, culminating in a John Brown touchdown. They take the lead. I'm not sure if it was the next. I don't think it was the next series. It might have been like 2 series later. Fitzpatrick hits, I think it was Preston Williams over the middle. He takes 2 steps. Tre'Davius White, beautiful lunging tackle, knocks the ball loose. Jerry Hughes picks it up. A couple plays later, Cole Beasley scores a touchdown. Bills are up 10 points. They win the game. I'm telling you, Tre'Davius White won that game. He does not make those 2 plays. They lose the game because the defense did not play well at all. The offense was all right. They're all right. 14 points off 2 Tre'Davius White turnovers. They lose the game were it not for him. That's basically what I'm getting at here. In terms of Josh Allen, I mean, look, it goes the same way it usually goes with him. You're a Josh Allen hater, which at this point, if you're a Josh Allen hater and you're also a Bills fan, I don't get it. I don't know what you're doing anymore. I really don't. But if you're looking for reasons to hate, I guess he gave you some. He was only 6 of 15 in the first half for 90 yards, got sacked twice. Did not look good. He didn't. And this is not an opinion. This is a fact. He also missed on 2 deep throws. I don't know when the last time he's hit on a deep throw. It hasn't been this season, but he had John Brown open for what would have been a touchdown on the right sideline. He overthrew him. And then he had Andre Roberts even more open on a post in the middle. Got way behind the defenders, and Allen overthrew him by a mile. Those were bad passes, Steve. He's got to learn how to hit on those. So if you don't like Josh Allen, and again, if you're a Bills fan for some reason, I just don't get it, I guess you got your ammunition. But I'll tell you what, he played well. That's at the end of the day, he played well. In the second half, I thought he was phenomenal. That incomplete bomb to Andre Roberts, I think that was his only incompletion in the second half. In fact, I know it was. He was 10 of 11, 112 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second half. He ran in a 2-point conversion. That's a phenomenal half of football. I mean, what more do you want? And here's the most important part. No turnovers today. None. 0. And that's important because this came on a day where I'm telling you, the way the defense played, if Josh Allen has 1 turnover even, they probably lose this game. They probably do. So 16 to 26, 202, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a quarterback rating of 111.4. It's a good game. He also ran for 32 yards and again, converted a 2-pointer and did not throw an interception. No fumbles. Clean game. Didn't make the best decision every play. Had a couple throws he'd like to have back, especially the 2 long ones. But it was a good game. Josh Allen played well today. And then the last guy that I wanted to hit on specifically, we always talk Josh Allen. We always talk defense. Deserved, because the defense has been elite all year, except for this game, by the way. But they've been very, very good this year. You know who we don't talk enough about on this football team? Let me tell you right now. John Brown. I am ready to have a John Brown appreciation day. I really am. This dude has been so good. What a blessing it turned out to be that the Bills did not get Antonio Brown, and that plan B was to go out and sign John Brown and Cole Beasley, because Cole Beasley's been good. John Brown's been great. 5 catches for 83 yards today, a touchdown. Would have had another. Again, were it not for Josh Allen overthrowing him deep when he was open on the right sideline. The guys had 5 or more catches in 5 of the 6 games this year. A lot of them have been big ones. It's very clear that when Josh Allen needs a play, he's looking to John Brown, and John Brown is delivering. He's had a very good season. He's the best wide receiver on this team by a lot. I know a lot of people are hesitant to call him a number 1 receiver. Well, guess what? I'm going to call him a number 1 receiver. Your number 1 receiver is the player on your team who's the best receiver, who your quarterback goes to when he needs him most. That is John Brown in a T right now for this team this year. If he can stay healthy, he's going to put up a career year, and I think he's been absolutely awesome. And he's a big reason why the Bills won today, too. Not as big as Trey White, but he was a big reason. Flip side, downside here, a couple things I wanted to hit on. Levi Wallace has had a good season, but this was not a good game at all. The Miami Dolphins game plan, it was pretty obvious. Find Levi Wallace, throw the ball at Levi Wallace. And I get it. Why are you going to throw the ball at Tre'Davius White, right? It worked too today. Levi Wallace, again, good season so far, but he struggled bad today. Was not good. I'm not going to put it all on him, though. The defense as a whole was not very good today. And I'll tell you, if there's one thing about the defense that I am concerned about, that I don't just consider today an exception, an anomaly, the pass rush has not been good this year. The Tennessee game, it was very good. I think they got to Mariano 5 times. But aside from that, they're not getting to the quarterback. Not even close. And they weren't good today at getting to the quarterback. Fitzpatrick, way too much time to throw. And I don't care how old he is. He's 74 years old, however the hell old he is. I don't care who his weapons are. If you give Ryan Fitzpatrick that much time, he will hurt you. And this isn't exactly a great Miami offensive line. I know the center was out. They've had other injuries. They traded Tunsil, the left tackle. Not a good line. I thought the Bills were going to feast today in the backfield, and they really didn't. They did not do a good job at getting pressure on them. And when they did, they didn't finish either. Fitzpatrick escaped pressure many, many times, including that touchdown late in the fourth quarter where Hughes had him wrapped but couldn't bring him down. Who knows? If that onside kick goes the other way, that could have been the play of the game. They got to do a better job getting the quarterback. They weren't good at that. They weren't really good at much at all on Sunday, to be honest with you. The interior defensive line was not good at stopping the run. There were gaping holes for the running backs to go through. And I'll tell you, and I got to be honest with you, man, I've been a big Tremaine Edmonds stan all season. I love that dude, man. I think he's been playing at a Pro Bowl level. I've talked about that on my podcast several times, but tell you what, not good today at all. I didn't like him at all today. Mo Alexander struggled badly. Matt Milano makes a big difference, I guess, to this team because his absence was felt out there today. Again, the middle line, defensive line, just terrible. It was just not a good day for the defense. Tre'Davius White bailed him out. Last guy, too. Dawson Knox. I'm going back to the offense here, kind of flip-flopping. I like this kid. He's such a conundrum, though. He had a nice 20-yard catch today, but he also dropped a pass that probably cost the Bills 4 points on that drive. He had a bad holding penalty. That's kind of been Dawson Knox in a nutshell. As a rookie, which, by the way, as a rookie, you can understand it. I'm not blasting this kid. I like him. I've said it. I think he could be a Pro Bowler in the future. I've heard Jeremy Shockey comparisons, and I totally buy it. The kid's got a lot of gifts, but he's very inconsistent right now. And with Tyler Kroft back, I'm ready to see more of him and a little less of Dawson Knox. I don't think Kroft even got a target today. Sure, he's being eased in, but let's maybe pump the brakes a little bit on Dawson Knox and get some more work for Tyler Kroft and ease this kid in the lineup because I feel like he's making a lot of mistakes, and sooner or later, one of his mistakes are really going to come back to bite them. But again, bottom line, and I'm going to admit this is a very homer point of view to take with the Buffalo Bills right now, and I tweeted something about this as well. Maybe, just maybe barely beating the really shitty Miami Dolphins at home is actually a good thing. Maybe the Bills, they must have been getting a little too full of themselves, believing the headlines, believing the hype a little bit too much, maybe listening to the radio stations and the podcasts and the blogs that have been singing their praises, talking about how good they are because they had a bye. They had 2 weeks to get ready for this game, 2 weeks to get healthy, 2 weeks to get focused, and they were completely flat. This was a flat game against a very bad team that they probably would have lost were it not for a couple plays by their star quarterback. That is the truth. So the upside is maybe this kind of game actually humbles them. It makes them refocus. And over the course of the long haul, they'll actually be better off for it because they do have a handful of games against teams that are going to be just like this. In fact, Washington in 2 weeks is one of them. They are a very bad football team. Denver, not a good team at all. They play the Jets again at home to end the season. They play Miami again in a handful of weeks. There's a lot of games on that schedule against teams that the Bills are going to be heavily favored against on paper. And maybe they realize now that they cannot take a game like this for granted again, which I think to some extent, they won't admit it, but to some extent, I think that is exactly what happened. I don't think this game really moved the needle much for the Buffalo Bills as far as I'm concerned. If you thought that they were going to win 10 or 11 games, I don't really feel like this changed too much. If you don't think that they can go and beat Dallas, or if you don't think they can go and beat New England on the road, or maybe Pittsburgh on the road, which is always a tough place to play at, regardless of what their record is, you didn't think that this isn't the kind of game where you say, yeah, the Bills are going to go on the road and they're going to win this game. But again, 5-1 is 5-1, and the Bills are looking really, really good early on in the AFC. All right, that'll do it for this. Again, coming up on the Moran-Alytics Podcast Tuesday, I'll be talking much more Buffalo Bills. I'll have a guest with me. I'm also going to have Brian Cozio from WGR. We're going to talk Buffalo Sabres. Subscribe to that podcast. There's links all up down there in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube page as well. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk again soon.